Now, we could do Vikings roster projections until the cows come home, but sometimes it's good to get into the heads of real professionals, where you got Will Ragatz, the Vikings beat writer for Sports Illustrated, the guy who's there every practice that the media is allowed to go to, boots on the ground. He projected the Vikings 53 as well as practice squad, and we want to go through, and there's some and there's some All right, so let's go. Also, really like and respect Will's work. You should subscribe to him or read his work throughout the season. It's good stuff. So, blah, blah, blah. Quarterbacks. Kirk Cousins, Kellen Mond, Jake Browning, Nate Stanley. Yeah, gone. Yeah, gone. Where I do think that they find a way to keep 4 in the sphere, and I think that it is going to be Cousins and Mond on the 53. Jake Browning, who did impress Gary Kubiak last season during training camp. Of course, there was no preseason, but Browning and Stanley, I think that is still close. Maybe Browning is starting to separate. He did get a lot of work with the twos, so maybe they keep both on the practice squad. Maybe they only keep one. It is a possibility. I could also see a world where they save an extra 53 spot where it's Cousins and Mon up top, and then Browning down the practice squad. There you go. Running backs and fullbacks. So they keep 5. Well, so I don't like when they lump running backs and fullbacks together, because fullback is a separate, sacred position. So CJ Ham makes it. And then, of course, the 4 running backs, Dalvin, Madison, Kenny Nwangu, as well as Amir Abdullah as a special teamer and receiving back. Jake Bargas makes a practice squad. He's the fullback last year, formerly a tight end. He got hurt, but does have some potential. AJ Rose coming out of Memphis. He does not make it. Wide receivers, so they keep 6, which could be foreshadowing what they're planning to do in terms of personnel. Now, the Vikings could have kept 5 like last year when they ran a lot of 2 tight ends, but if they're going to spread it out, play a little bit more 11 personnel, this would make sense. Jefferson, Thielen, BB, BC, ISM, and KJ Osborne snagging the last spot. Hopefully the former 5th-round pick from last season out of the U, just the U being the U, can get things together. He was the kick and punt returner last year. He got benched thrice. He didn't take a snap on offense, I believe, so maybe he gets it together. Blake Prohl, Wap Filior, the 2 UDFAs, make the practice squad cut. Dan Chisena, who made the 53, last year after being a UDFA, 6'3", 220, can run like a deer, but we'll see. Also, Myron Mitchell does not make it. Tight ends. So they keep 5 in the sphere. Irv Gronklin, Brandon Dillon, the Marion Barbarian hangs on. I could see a spot where Dillon and Zach Davidson are switched out, but he does have Davidson and Zylstra shine down on the practice squad. None of them get cut. So maybe the Vikings, even though they are going to run some more 11 personnel, maybe they do stick with multiple tight ends, which they ran the most of any team in the league last year. Offensive linemen. So they're keeping 8 on the active roster, 3 in the practice squad. Brian, the real deal, O'Neal, Ezra, Garrett Bradbury, Christian Darrisaw, Rashad Hill, Wyatt Davis, Mesa Cole, Oli Udo. I could certainly see that. Maybe they keep 9. Maybe they keep one extra one up on the roster. Maybe it is a Drew Samia. Maybe it is a Kyle Hinton, but they keep 8 there. I'm perfectly fine with that. Also perfectly fine with Dakota Dozier being cut. Now, I think it's about 50-50. I think that Dennison's dedication to veterans like a Dakota Dozier, who did start all 16 games last year and was running primarily with the ones this year, maybe it would be tough for them to cut him, but performance-wise, yes, he should be gone. But on the practice squad, I know that Samia was absolute ass last year when he was in there for 4 games, but maybe they're not ready to give up on a third-year player. Who knows? Kyle Hinton last year, a 7th-round pick out of Washburn. I still believe, man. I still believe. And Kevin Kazarzik, who was the rookie tryout guy, was a UDFA last year coming out of Buffalo, did impress enough to make the 90-man, so I think that he does have a shot to make the practice squad. Gone. Blake Brandel, which would be a little bit surprising. They did work him in at center this year. He was a left tackle by trade at Oregon State. He was a 6th-round pick in 2020. Was on the practice squad last year. Maybe this is a spot where it just like cycles through, where practice squads, dirty little open secret, where if it's 12, they would constantly cut one and bring one back and alternate weeks. So essentially you would have 13 on the practice squad. And with 16, they just do that. And then essentially you have 17 players on the practice squad. Defensively, So they keep 10 defensive linemen, which I think is going to happen. Daniil, Dalvin, Pierce, Weatherly. I think that's going to be your starting four. Hopefully Michael Pierce's calf is good to go. Sheldon, what up? How big is that Sheldon Richardson signing now with Michael Pierce with that calf injury? Diesel just slides over to nose. Sheldon comes in at 3-tech. Woo! You have Wanham, Patrick Jones, Janaris, Armand for Watson, Hercules, Mata Afa. I think that does make sense. Maybe you could flip a coin between Hercules and James Lynch. He killed my guy James Lynch. How do you get rid of a 4th-round pick who was so good when he was actually given an opportunity last year? I don't know. Jalen Twyman. Now, if he's healthy, good to go. First up, prayers up. But if he's good to go to make the practice squad, that is a hell of a comeback. I mean, how do you get shot 4 times and you still make the practice squad? It's crazy. Kenny Willekes, Johnny Tryhard last year, 7th-round pick out of Michigan State. Big-time production. Didn't really check the box metrics-wise. And Jordan Brailford, speed rusher that came in last year, former 7th-round pick from Washington. And he did do some nice things when he was given opportunity. So I would like to see some more of him. Zade Johnson, Jordan Scott, the 2 UDFAs, no-go. And Jalen Holmes, former 4th-round pick. You go. Linebackers, keeping 5. Kendricks, Barr, Candlelight Vigil, Chasserat, Troy Dye. I do think that is probably what's going to happen. You could see a world where they keep 6 on the roster and maybe 1 on the practice squad or some combination of keeping 7. But Cameron Smith and Christian Ellis, Christian Ellis making the practice squad. Ryan Connolly, the former Eden Prairie and Stupid Badger, no go. Blake Lynch. Oh, let go Blake Lynch. But he played so good towards the end of the season. I don't know. I don't know Christian Ellis from Adam. It's tough to find Idaho tape. But, Blake Lynch, I'll put on the practice squad. Tuff Borland. I just don't know if Tuff Borland is athletic enough to be in the NFL, even as a backup linebacker, special teamer. Safeties. Going straight to safeties. So keeping 3. Harrison, Xavier Woods, Cameron Bynum, practice squad, Miles Dorn. Cutting Josh Metellus. Wow. And also cutting Luther Kirk, Illinois State. So they've typically kept 4 on the 53. Maybe they deviate from that because maybe they're going to use one of the cornerbacks as a potential safety, and maybe they get into that. It would be good if I read this ahead of time. Doesn't say anything. But keeping... All right, so... In total, you're keeping 10 defensive backs. Typically, it's 6 cornerbacks and 4 safeties. But if you keep 7 cornerbacks, keeping 3 safeties, I understand that. Also, even though Patrick Peterson has talked about, I'm not going to play safety. Maybe he'll play safety. Who really knows? Also, I do think that Chris Boyd potentially could shift to safety. But 7 making the roster, Patrick Peterson, Cam Dantzler, Mackenzie Alexander, Bashad Breeland, Harrison Hand, yes, Chris Boyd, and veteran Ty Smith, just hanging on. Where... I do like Amari Henderson a lot from Wake Forest. I actually do think that he has the length and the attributes that could convert him to safety. So maybe he hangs around on the 53. Maybe he just makes a practice squad here. But veterans Perry Nickerson, Dylan Mabin, as well as Jeff Gladney cut. I don't know if Gladney will be straight up cut, depending on what happens with his legal issues. Maybe he'll just be on the commissioner's exempt list. I don't know. The specialists. Joseph, Britton Colquitt, DePaulo, and Riley Patterson. I do think this is what's going to happen, where Colquitt is the only punter on the rooster right now. Greg Joseph and Riley Patterson sort of flip a coin. Whoever does better in training camp preseason will get the job. But I do think that they will practice squad one of them, similar to what they did last year. Andrew DePaulo, who came in and saved the Vikings from the Austin Cutting long snapping mess. Maybe he hangs on, even though he's in his mid-30s. But Turner Bernard certainly has a shot to the UDFA from San Diego State, I believe. So recapping the practice squad. Got Jake Vargas, backup fullback. Blake Prohl, Wap Filior, the 2 receivers, Davidson and Zylstra Omai. At tight end, 3 offensive linemen, Samia, Hinton, Kazarzek. 3 defensive linemen, Twyman, Willekes, and Brailford. 2 linebackers, Cameron Smith and Christian Ellis. And then no cornerbacks because he carried 7. Way down. 1 cornerback. I'm really good at reading. One safety, Miles Dorn from UNC last year at UDFA. Amari Henderson was a 2020 UDFA out of Wake Forest, was with the Jaguars, and then made a splash at rookie camp, much like Kazarzek. So I think that he could have a shot to make at least a practice squad, and then got Riley Patterson as well. So overall, I disagree with a couple spots, but I think this is a pretty good projection of what's going to go down with the Vikings. So hopefully now everyone stays healthy for the love of Christ. And then we'll go from there. This is a deep roster, man. There's going to be some really tough decisions, especially along the defensive line, especially in the secondary as well. But we'll see. Your thoughts on our thoughts. Take a look at Sports Illustrated 53-man roster as well as practice squad. Let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support that work? Post on the Venmo. But until next time, Skol, production value.